that. You know, it's just I would feel like I didn't. If I shot only digital, then I would feel like I don't have the thing. But for me, it's generational. Like I came from film only, and there was no choice. And so now, when I have the choice, I make the film choice because I think it looks better and it looks familiar. And I think, and a lot of us, even y'all's generation, a lot of what you saw as children in videos and films and movies was made on real celluloid, and it has a vibe that is in you. And like and like when they remade Star Wars, they used film, and it was a thing, and it has a thing. So, but the problem with, and as a teacher, like I don't care if it's film or video, or film or video or digital. I think anything can be good. So, but you aren't out with a digital camera. That's not what you're doing. Yeah. And there's the 450 rolls, and then and so, and I'm sure you've heard stories of photographers who rolled and passed away, and the cameras from the archive. You know, don't do that though. Don't pass away.
Don't be Winogrand.
Yeah. So, do you need to see it? Like you're going to shoot today, you don't need to see that? How do you grow as an artist if you haven't seen your latest results?
Be confident.
Because what?
Be confident.
Be
confident in what you're doing.
Answer.
Yeah, I mean, I've barely seen anything from April going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm confident in myself and what I did. Will I be disappointed by some of the results? Sure. But I know that I got something good. Multiple things good. I enjoy letting that sit for a little while and then reevaluating it later. I'm not impulsive I'm not impulsive. I don't feel like I have to go to the lab and just look at the results immediately.
I see. That's not the impulse then. There's other impulses, but that's not.
I feel like I can assess the work better if I have it a little time to marinate instead of looking at it immediately on a digital camera or going home and putting the SD card in and seeing it immediately. I like removing myself from what I already took 5 months ago.
I do too. I deliberately don't look at it because I want the sheen to come off, and I want the expectations to disappear, and I can't remember what I thought I was going to have, and then I appreciate it more. And also when I'm going to edit, I don't mean to Photoshop it. I mean like when I'm going to choose this one instead of these 100, I like the sheen to wear off. You guys always are on deadline because it's college, so you can't let the sheen wear off. But
I've never been on a deadline, so I don't have that pressure.
I was going to ask, do you take assignment work? It's coming.
I have shot for the New York Times.
Well, that was a deadline.
Multiple times. It was a deadline.
So it's not true that you don't have any deadlines.
That was my personal work.
It was personal?
I did 5.
What do you mean personal work versus not personal work?
It's all personal work.
Yeah.
But when you have a deadline, it's a little different.
Yeah. What did you shoot for the Times?
I shot a story about Halloween masks, like Michael Myers. They gave me a Michael Myers mask. An editor came to my house, gave me a Michael Myers mask.
I see.
And then I shot that for a piece about Halloween masks. I did the dream assignment, which was literally street photography. It was called street art. So it was a group assignment where there was 4 photographers, and they took photos of whatever they thought was street art, which I just took street photos like I always do. I shot this one I didn't love, but it was a studio on 59th Street. It was wedding photographers that had a studio for like 60 years.
This was another Times story. Yeah. It sounds so like what they would do.
Yeah, it was more like portraits, but they weren't candidates of them. And then I shot. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the game Warhammer, but it's a popular strategic game.
What kind of game?
Strategic game, like Dungeons and Dragons. It's basically that, but it's the most popular one in the world. So I went to a store and shot that. People playing that, but in my style. Whenever they hire me, it's because of my style.
Yeah, that's what the Times has always done. Yeah.
But I always shot film. They always wanted film.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to shoot digital.
Yeah,
Because I asked. I said, "Do you want digital? It'll be quicker." And they were like, "No."
No, I
Shoot
and I
film,
think
shoot
that
your
is actually
style.
going on now. The last thing I shot for the New Yorker, I rented a bunch of digital gear, and I got this letter saying, "Could you unrent that and get film because that's why we wanted you?" And I was like, "Really?" Because that wasn't going to be what I did. So they paid, but it cost them a lot more money. But that's what they wanted. So yeah. So, but I do not want to set up you guys having a complex about making digital. Digital can be amazing. It's really in here, you know. So
That's just how I started, and that's how I've always been. That's why I shoot film. There's nothing wrong with digital. I've shot digital before.
yeah, sure.
I just think it helps with my practice.
These guys just did an assignment photographing essentially street photography, and I gave everybody a fixed lens that they couldn't change they couldn't zoom, so everybody had to set it and forget it. And then everybody had to have a mode, like your mode I think was one and done, right? You can only take one picture no matter what.
That's
and
fine.
go away. That was the one and done. We looked at you for reference, and we had some other references of like you could keep shooting, or like Jose was using slight telephoto, and so they all had that look. But it makes a consistent map across the work. You know, it has. And film is that way too. If something's filmed, the next thing on film looks like the thing before, looks like the thing. So it tends to make a grouping. You know, they have a vibe. You know, so we're gonna do a workshop today. I'm still not sure what it's all about, Trevor. But I thought that by noon we should probably be taking pictures, so we still have 20 minutes before we're doing that.
I mean, we can get into it whenever you want.
Yeah.
Just wait till you see me take a photo.
Yeah.
It's going to be very close, and it's maybe not the most comfortable thing in the world.
Well, let's talk about that because that was on the thing, and I wanted to talk. So it seems like from looking over your social media, and we just looked at that video, it turned out we had seen it, that the confrontation is part of your thing. It's like a byproduct, or is it the thing? Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yes, I get in conversations maybe once a day if I shoot for 8 hours.
But someone's following you with a video camera, so how can you explain about that?
Oh, that video?
Well, any of it. There seems to be a number of videos where the confrontation got caught on cam.
Well, that's because I shoot with people.
Someone comes with you.
I'm hanging out with my friends.
Right.
And then they, something might happen.
Something starts to happen, and then they
Exactly.
So
it's
you're
not
not
intentional.
carrying a cinematographer along with you for the purpose of recording. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So it's happenstance.
Exactly.
Right.
And it doesn't happen as often as you think it does.
But it is very social media traction-ish. It's the kind of people want to see conflict, and like every time I open up TikTok, it's all conflict, and so it keeps feeding me another one and another one, and I think that outrage is addictive. So if you're seeing something where someone is outraged, or you see something and you're outraged, you just want another one. And so I noticed that this is really big now, which is that there's this kind of like, I want more outrage. So there is in your track, there's outrage. Someone's outraged that you took the picture, right? But is that what you're going for? It's not what you're going for. It's happening anyway.
It's just the style and the approach. Because I get up close.
Yeah.
And I do like flash.
And there could be flash.
And that can lead to outrage. But there's a lot more positive interactions than negative, but you just don't see it.
Right.
No one's reporting a positive.
No one's reporting that. Yeah. And I'm not suggesting that it should be, but I think once somebody's looking at all your stuff, it seems as if it's all calculated. I don't mean in a calculating way. I just mean, but it really isn't. Here's everything that happened. It's as it happens. Here's the new thing, and so on. So, okay. So, but are you, like there was the cowboy hat guy at like Port Authority.
Right.
Are you picking somebody, like you see him, and you're like, I'm going to go over there and he's not going to like it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like, are you picking people where you think they're not going to like it?
No.
Okay. That's fair.
I pick people that are interesting.
Yeah.
Not necessarily characters, but I mean, the Port Authority, I know exactly what you're referring to. He was smoking a cigarette, he had a Mountain Dew, he had a big Nike bag, he had a cowboy hat, he had glasses. I just saw him and I was like, this guy's interesting. And then my friend was with me and he started recording.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him to record, he just did it.
And you said something to the guy, I forget what you said.
I said, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, but then I think you said something like, you look great, or something like that. Which it seems like it's complimentary in general. Of course you say.
Because it is.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of anybody.
Right. Well, I probably wouldn't be here if I thought you were making fun of me. Because I don't like that. Yeah, I wouldn't be here. Or we wouldn't be who we are, we wouldn't be here. So, making fun of people is not it, I mean, I believe that you should always press the button to take a picture. You can decide later if it's the wrong note. Like you could look at it and be like, oh, it looks like I'm making fun of them. Okay, not using that one. So it could happen, but that's not what you're trying to make it happen. But you're not picking people who you think will be outraged. Like, oh, I'm gonna go get that guy. How about cops? Like just cop pictures?
I have a ton of cop pictures.
Yeah.
They also can't do anything. That's why I take cop pictures. So with the cops, I do find them very interesting because they're cops. And that's part of life. But also, they know the law. They can't really say anything.
They know. Yeah, or as I was explaining to the class, it's not exactly a law. It's legal precedent. Legal precedent says you can take anything observable in a public space, including looking in the windows.
Yep.
Even though that's private, it's not private because I can see you in there on your Peloton working out, and so I'm allowed to zoom in 400 meters and take a picture.
I've never done that. but it is technically legal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of strange legality and ethics behind all of it. And as long as you're in a public space, you're allowed to make a photo or take a photo. And that really boils down to what you're comfortable with. Because a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. My ex-girlfriend, I won't say hated what I did, she respected what I did, but she didn't agree with it. Because she doesn't believe you should take photos of people without their consent. So it's really about what you are comfortable with. If you're comfortable with taking the photo of that guy right over there, that's on you. It's not a great subject, but the point is, like, if you're okay with doing it, you're not doing anything wrong. Because what I'm trying to do is just capture what I see in my life. And I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, as we've already explained. I just want to document for the future.
And I think, do you have some main areas, or it could be anywhere, any day? Because they're on a new project now called Sense of Place. And they got to pick a place and stay with that, overshoot it. I know Madison Avenue, but I was curious what else, or is it just that?
I've neglected Madison.
Oh.
A lot has happened recently where I haven't had a lot of time to go there.
Oh, you've been busy.
I got a new job. I have an interview coming out, as I told you.
Right.
I hang out with my friends. They want to go to Brooklyn. So I have neglected that. But I have shot this area in Midtown for 6 years.
Yeah.
That was the main area because there's so many people around. So I felt there was a lot of more opportunity to take photos.
Sidewalks.
There's a lot more opportunity to take photos of anybody or anything happening. But now I went to Bensonhurst this weekend, and I actually found that more interesting than shooting Midtown. Like one of the first times in a long time. So yeah, I mean, Midtown was my concentrated area, but now I've only been here 2 times in the past month and a half. Because it just doesn't intrigue me as much as it did, because I've done it for so long. I guess that's an answer.
Yeah, it's an answer. So let's talk for a minute about about the video we were just watching. The black man was like, "That's not my life story," or whatever he says, and so on. Do you have any regret? Are you like, I shouldn't have bothered that guy? I feel bad now. No? Because you walk away and you're like, it is what it is, and so on. I mean, he doesn't seem like he's harmed in a way, but I don't know. You're up in his space.
I don't have any regret because not everybody's going to understand what you're doing. Not everybody's going to understand what you're doing.
Sure.
And my intent was not to really invade his space or make him feel bad. It was just to capture him. Because before, like at the beginning of that video, I said this guy's tight, and by tight I mean he looks good.
Right.
And that was on Madison Avenue.
So not to interrupt, but he may go away mad, but that doesn't bother you. Like, or do you need to keep talking to him until he finally like?
It doesn't bother me that he left mad. I just try to be as nice as possible, and I don't want to leave a tainted memory, or I don't want him to think that I was trying to do anything nefarious.
Yeah.
So I do talk to a lot of subjects, and I do talk them down and try to explain myself and explain what I'm doing. And
right.
Usually it's positive, but occasionally it doesn't matter what you say. Like, he was never going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
And some subjects are like that. So the question was I okay with him being mad? Yes, because I wasn't able to make him feel better about what I was doing. He just was going to be mad regardless, and that happens sometimes.
I'm seeing among a lot of accounts on Instagram throwing things in comment sections, total strangers, about like there really ought to be a law against this. People shouldn't be doing this. What about children that are innocent and people are taking their pictures and this is terrible? I'm seeing it's an unofficial and unscientific thing. But it would not be possible in this United States for somebody to take a movement and take a movement and take a movement and try to outlaw it. Because it's outlawed in other parts of the world. I was just looking at the British laws, which were more liberal than I thought, but it could change. You know, it could change.
It could change, but wow, we're getting really into legality. I don't think that would happen.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't, but I just know in politics that everyone will join in if it appears that they're doing something for the public good. So if someone very, very popular, let's say an outrageous thing, like what if some big politician that was very liked came out and was like, we gotta stop this public photography thing, you know, it's an invasion of privacy and it's harming and it's trafficking and grooming and whatever they wanted to say. And then other politicians don't want to fight back. They're like, yeah, okay, yeah, also bad. I'll go. You know, I can see it happening. I hope it doesn't happen. And that's partly why we're here.
I'd say maybe I might have to take the stand one day.
Yeah.
Because
take the stand. Congress.
Because this is part of your First Amendment right, freedom of speech.
Yeah, it seems to be speech.
And also, then you can point out all the security cameras around.
Sure, you can point
and
that
say,
out.
oh, you can film us, but we can't take a photo.
Out. I can see 4 security cameras from where I'm sitting. So yeah, but I think everybody kind of tunes that out.
I might have to go to a McCarthy hearing. We'll see.
You might have to what?
Go to a McCarthy. Red Scale.
Oh, Red. That's what I thought you were talking about. But then I was like, that was such a leap. Yeah, but that was a thing where people were going to be accused of being communists in this jail, and then suddenly, you know, so yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
There is something you won't photograph, you have a thing, like, I wouldn't take a picture of like someone naked or kids or...
I've done that.
That's what I mean, like, do you have a limit or something, like
I don't.
convictions?
I don't have a limit, but that's when it comes down to the edit. That's when it comes down, should I show it or not?
Oh, the limit's in the edit?
Yes. It comes down to, is the moment worth taking a photo of? And if it is, I take the photo, and then I decide later whether it's okay to show that or not. Or, like you were saying, take the photo. I think you said snap the photo, decide later.
Yeah, that's my job.
That's how
I mean, that's my thing.
There's not really a limit per se. Of course, I've walked down the street before and been like, I'm not going to take a photo of that.
Uh-huh.
But there's not really a limit. It really comes down to, what do I think ethically is right or wrong to share online or put in a book. That's pretty much my answer. I don't really have any more to say about it. Like, there's not really a limit.
Are there comments you would take down off your stuff? Okay, I figured no, but those comments could be defamatory. That fat old lady is blah blah blah. You know, I mean, I can see that it's happened with Arnold. I'm not saying he took things down, but I mean, I've seen people write. But there's 1,700 comments on one photograph. There's bound to be haters, as they say.
Yeah, I get some of that, but I'm not going to take it down as part of the discussion.
Right, discussion.
I'm not going to censor opinions.
Yeah.
People have certain opinions, and that's their opinion. I don't think it's okay to censor that. Because a lot of people don't like what I do. I get a lot of hate. But
Do you get a lot of hate?
I do get a lot of hate.
Do you get DMs? Fuck you, man.
I got a YouTube comment saying, I hate your shirt more than I hate slaves.
It's just somebody trying to cause trouble.
I know. But I'm saying, like,
yeah.
I get a lot of hate. But I don't let that affect my mentality. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. Because I'm not saying they're wrong. I understand their perspective. But I don't think what I'm doing is wrong.
When do you know it's a good picture in your eye, in your art? It's for the composition, the color, the feeling. What makes you show that picture?
It's all about the moment. It's all about the precise moment. I'm very drawn to something that's emotional, whether it's happy, sad, whatever. Don't think about color very much. When I'm looking through photos, I'm like, oh, these colors go well together. But I'm mostly thinking about the precise moment that is captured in a photograph and how that makes either me first off, but also a viewer feel. That's what's really important to me. And I think Chris would agree with his book of your family. It's really about the moment and how it feels. That's why you put together that book. You feel something when you look at your book. I know it's personal to you, but other people also feel something when they look at your photographs.
I'm looking for the universal. It's personal, but it's universal. Everybody can relate to the kid laying on the carpet in front of the couch,
And even I can relate, because I took photos of my mom before she passed away. And those photos, to me, I can relate to you a little bit, because those are my personal family photos, but they were my mom.
Yeah.
And people look at those and they can relate to them. Because I've had people message me, my mom has cancer, how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, I love your photos of your mom. Like, it makes me feel good because you captured her while she was alive and going and struggling through that disease. So it's really all about the feeling the photograph gives you. And that's all I'm trying to capture. I'm not trying to capture someone that looks weird. Obviously, I see an interesting subject and I'm like, that's interesting, but it's more about the feeling. I think that's all that photography
It's
is.
about your feeling or about the people's feeling. Let's say Jose is crying and you see something interesting in him. You take the picture, but it's what you're feeling or why they feel it.
I'd say it's a mixture.
It's about
Like if Jose's crying and I take a photo of him, I would say that's an interesting photo. What is he crying about? That, like, questions are raised in the photograph. I don't know. Would you agree? Like, questions are raised. Like, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Everyone says that.
Yeah, after you took the picture, you'd be examining it, trying to figure out if it has the power that maybe at the moment. Because a lot of times I'll take something in the moment. I don't know why Jose's crying for the example, but let's say Jose was crying, and I might take the picture, and but later I would look at it and feel like I thought it was going to be one thing, but it's not.
Right.
You know, the picture itself, you can't force it in.
No.
You know, you're okay though. It's good. But yeah, no. But what about someone in distress? Because some of your subjects are in distress, right? Some people, they have a limit. I won't photograph homeless people. I won't photograph someone who's sick, someone who's very distressed, agitated. It seems like you don't have that rule.
I don't have that rule, but I have the rule of, if you take a photo of someone, especially in need, someone homeless, and that's all it is, I will not show that. But if it invokes a feeling that's more powerful, then I feel it is okay to share it, because all of life isn't happy, and I feel like censoring happiness and sadness is not okay. I think we got to show everything, and I feel like just being like, I will not photograph a homeless person, or I will not photograph someone in need, in my opinion, is not okay, because we have to show all of life. If we don't document a homeless person, and I talk to homeless people for 45 minutes all the time, I'll talk to them, and I'll ask them, is it okay if I take your photo? And they're like, yes, and then I'll wait until, not to say they're doing something interesting, but wait for a good moment,
Yeah.
and then I'll take it.
Yeah.
That is okay to me, because I feel like people censor that a lot, because they feel like it's exploitative, and maybe it is, but I don't feel like it's exploitative, because I feel like it's documentary photography. I don't feel like what I'm doing is street photography. I feel like what I'm doing is documenting New York. So when people ask me, you're a photographer, I say, yeah, I'm a documentary photographer, not a street photographer.
Because there's too much stigma about street
No,
photography, or why can't
because
you
I
say
feel like
that?
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, but a better category. Yeah.
Sure, but I feel like it's the same thing.
I was just going to go back to the list here because we're heading up on noon and see if we're forgetting anything. But that's interesting, because 45 minutes talking to somebody is not what it looks like a lot of times. But that is a little bit like going home with somebody. With the homeless person, you went home with them there, and then a longer conversation ensues, and then this is a deeper thing, and then and then you make the picture that way. So it's not all like click and go. So okay, that's interesting to know. And then is the ultimate end of it is to put it into the phones, or is there some further? But you've got the book is out now, the catalog, the zine is that, so that's it. You prefer that?
So the phone is exposure. It's not about, that's not the end goal. The end goal is to make books, to make prints.
The end goal is books and prints. So how
The
often is
MoMA,
that happening?
all
the
of that,
MoMA.
all of that.
Where all the other street photography and documentary photography is in those places. I see.
The goal
So
is not the phone. The phone is exposure.
Okay.
The more people that know, the more I can work with assignments or on jobs, and it's just to be able to do what I want to do in life, which is photograph, and do it financially. Like I would love, like I have a job now where I manage a building, but I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I want to be able to photograph
It's a
and
means
be
to an end.
correct.
Yeah.
Social media doesn't matter.
Okay.
But it-
but there are some documentary photographers, like I don't know if you know Stacy Kranitz, who photographs. So Stacy, I mean, she won this thing about Instagram Photographer of the Year, and I remember, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but it was something about that that she's using it for what it's for, and that the end result really kind of was the phone. I mean, she has a book out now, her first, but that because I feel like the space in here of the work is quite fulfilling. It's not like I look at it and be like, oh, but what's really Trevor doing? Like, I feel like I do get it from here. So I don't know, because a lot of people say social media, whatever, it could be gone tomorrow, I don't care. When you explain it's promotion, okay. But it is a pretty fulfilling experience to see photographs this way.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, you
in
were on the
photography.
internet reading about Vivian Meyer and Diane Arbus or whoever.
I'm saying it doesn't matter in terms of like fulfilling your work. Like likes and followers and all that doesn't really matter. But it's helpful to be able to do what you want to do in the future. And that's how I view it. Like, all of that is helpful for me to grow as an artist and be able to go to places I wouldn't go. I've never been out of the country. Maybe I will. Maybe someone will ask me to go to France and I'll be able to go because they saw my photo. I don't know. It's really about showing the work.
Yeah.
It's not a gallery, it's online.
Yeah. So I think I went through all the important stuff pre-workshop here, except for cropping.
Okay.
We did some creative cropping in class the other day, and there was some agreement that it had improved the picture, and I wonder where you stand on the cropping.
Crop very slightly.
Slightly.
Minimum. I improved the composition a little bit.
A little bit.
Because when I take a photo, especially on the street, I just want to get, I mean, it's a little more than just want to get them in the frame, but it's a little loose. So